Oh man, what a great day.
Hey, welcome everyone to another exciting episode of the I Chose Last Time podcast. I'm Mario with my two friends, Michael and Fernando.
What it do?
Yo,
Today we are going to talk about our favorite movies, and towards the end of the podcast, we are going to pick a movie that we haven't seen out of those the movies that we talk about, and we're gonna try to watch it for the next podcast. Um, this topic was actually chosen by Michael this time, and
What?
so, what are your favorite movies? What out of all movies you consider your favorites?
Well, I chose fun movies. I didn't really go for my favorite movies
Hmm.
because I knew that we were gonna have to pick, a movie that we haven't seen at the end, and I think you guys have pretty much seen all my favorite movies, so it'd be kind of boring in that sense.
Uh huh.
So I went with some off the grid movies that I feel that I really enjoyed a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I would think that you guys might enjoy them if you haven't already seen them.
Go for it. Shoot us
Um,
one.
so one of them is Battle Royale. Um,
Royale.
I
Which one's that?
believe it's a Japanese movie, so there is subtitles.
Hmm.
It almost like the what's that movie where they pick a tribute and then they ship them off to like an island and
To Kill
then
a, I mean, no, not To Kill a
the
Mockingbird.
mocking the mockingbird
To Kill a
movie.
Mockingbird.
Mockingjay. No,
No,
that's To Kill a
that's
Mocking.
Yeah,
that's a
y'all know
book.
what you're talking
That's
That's a
about.
it's
book,
the what do you,
Mario.
yeah, that's
Okay,
the book.
cool.
No, it's the
Y'all know what you're talking about.
yeah.
Anyways, uh, so yeah, it's sort of like that, but the there's like just a bunch of kids that are just kind of rounded up and they're taken to this island and they essentially are told last one standing gets to live, and so they're thrown onto this fucking
Dude, the
island,
movie's at
and
like the tip of my tongue. Like I know which movie
that's
you're
what she
talking
said.
about. What is that movie?
What movie are you talking about?
There's a movie like that with the kids that are on the island. No?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I'm like, what are you talking
No,
about?
not
Well,
not the
anyways,
movie you're talking about.
the one I'm talking about is
Yes.
called Battle Royale.
Got it.
And it's rated R.
It's a Japanese
It,
movie?
it's a Japanese movie.
Like in
Um,
Japanese?
You were talking about Hunger
yes,
Games.
Ah.
Hunger Games. Yes, just like Hunger
Ah.
Games.
That's not the movie I'm talking
Um,
about.
well, in Hunger Games, they're taken to an island, and then they're
Ah.
told they have to, whoever survives survives. Um, but in this one, it's rated R, so the killings are just super bloody, and it's pretty legit. That's one of my movies that I chose. So, yeah.
That's a major fail that we couldn't think of Hunger Games as the movie with that release. You know what I mean? It's not that
Well,
old.
I mean, let's keep it 100. It wasn't that great of a movie.
It's
So it is
okay.
a movie that's a little forgettable, in my opinion. Especially the follow up movies to it; those were horrible. But anyways, yeah, Battle Royale. Check it out.
Cool. And I will be putting the images of the movies on the video for those of you that are interested. Uh, Fernando, what's one of your favorites?
Let's see. So I'm putting this down on over here. All right. So I was just thinking about like movies that I randomly came across and that I enjoyed, and it was like, oh, like this is actually good. So to the point where I would watch it again, like that, So because favorite movies, everybody has those. Like, if I told you, oh, Men in Black, you guys have all seen Men in Black, or if I said The Dark Knight, things like that. So,
Let's not assume that either,
well,
because
for
there are
you,
movies.
between you guys,
That's
yeah,
okay. All right. I'm
because I
just
mean, like
saying.
we
I'm
went to
just
go see
saying.
Dark Knight together, so there it is.
Okay.
But
Well, yeah, you wouldn't name the
movie,
movies that we saw together then.
right? Exactly. But well, those are my favorite movies.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can still
But
mention them though.
because at the end of it, nothing was better than the Dark Knight, right? That was the key slogan for a decade. Uh,
I've seen The Dark Knight so many times. I don't think I ever have to watch it in my lifetime ever again. Like I can play the movie in my mind. You know, that's how many times I've seen it. Um, but yeah, it would be up there as one of my favorite movies to watch.
Absolutely. But the movie I picked was something that I randomly ran across on a flight to Georgia, so I had some time to watch. But it was Hotel Artemis. It kind of has the John Wick feel, but the Hotel Artemis is basically about it's in the future where it's like this one hotel is kind of owned by the mob or not. I don't even remember if it's owned by the mob or not, but it's protected. So as long as you're in, no, you can't be shot, you can't be murdered, you can't be attacked, you can't do anything. There's like a doctor in there, to
Like
protect
John
you.
Wick.
Like, yeah, and it's like, but it's different. It's
No,
like I said, it's in that John Wick
but
style,
like that.
yeah, but it's but the second you step outside, you're
Fair game.
But it's the thing is something happens in the hotel, and there's like everything starts to fall apart, and basically becomes like survival of the fittest on the way out. But I really enjoyed that movie. It was something just for fun, like oh, that was a good one.
When you said you saw it on a flight, that's how you found
I
out about
did.
it?
I think it was like either 2018 or 2019, so it's only a few years old.
That's not too long.
Yeah.
Okay. Did that come out in theaters?
It's with Jodie Foster.
Yeah, Jodie Foster's in it.
Got it.
Jodie Foster's the nurse.
I see.
Yep. Sorry, I'm Googling.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I can.
How about Mario? What's yours?
Favorite movies. There's obviously a ton of them, but I'll just kind of go with like that movie that I could just like put on all the time, right? I will say, okay, I'm gonna say one that is eventually gonna be one of like the recommend movies that is, if you guys have not seen it, especially since you guys have HBO Max, is you guys should watch Spirited Away. You guys know what Spirited Away is?
The horse movie?
No, that's Spirit.
That's Spirit.
That's Spirit. Stallion of the Cimarron, I think, is the one you're thinking about. Not anywhere near this one. I will put
Mercy.
both of those images.
The cartoon.
Yes. Both of those images on the screen side by side on different spectrums of the best and worst movies ever made. Yes.
I think I've seen the picture of this one.
You might have seen it a lot. That's probably like if you hear anything about Ghibli Studios, that's like the movie that is arguably considered like the top movie. I would say in popularity, just because I think that was the one film that won an Academy Award for animation during its, but no other film has come close to it. It does kind of really portray a lot of Japanese culture in it, but the story itself like builds upon like to the next thing. Like she accomplishes one thing to get to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next, and that's kind of how that. But animation wise, I mean, the animation is just amazing. The music is amazing. It's one of those films where like you either know about these films or you don't know about them very well.
Oh man!
Why? Well, I can say I know.
What?
Forget horse movie.
Horse movie. Wow.
Oh man, I'm an idiot.
Not the same one.
Wilbur.
I mean, have you seen Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron? I have to a long time ago.
It's not bad, but it's not great.
I'm not even if it's on like TV. I still wouldn't watch. It's just that.
That's pretty cool.
Do you guys have a favorite animated film?
There's so many, man. Come on.
I mean, yes. Mask of the Batman, the Mask of the Phantasm. It's. I mean, yes.
I will put that image up. Michael,
I mean,
go
I'd have
go with your next movie.
uh this one I really enjoy. Um, it caught me off guard when I watched it, and I think I told you to watch it, Mario, a long time ago. I don't know if you ever did. Um, but it's Jack and the Cuckoo Clock Heart. It is an animated movie. Um, it I guess the only way to kind of tell you what the movie's about is just to ask you a question. Um, would you be willing to sacrifice your life to kiss the woman that you love? So just keep that question in mind when you watch the film.
I see.
Um, it's about this little boy. It's the movie's out there, and it's about this little boy that was born during the winter. But the winter was the coldest of the coldest winters to have ever hit. And so when he was born in this cold winter, his heart was frozen. So
Oh wait, I do remember that.
it
I
was replaced with a cuckoo clock heart. And that's how he's alive. He's alive with this heart made from a clock. Um,
tell us what kind of animation it was.
the
Like, was it hand
animation.
drawn? Was it stop motion, claymation? It like how would you describe it?
Oh, oh man, I don't know the different types, but if I was gonna compare it to something, I would
Mhm.
say it would be like almost like um, Nightmare Before
I was
Christmas.
about to say, okay, so yeah, that's
It's it's something like that,
okay.
but smoother.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one of the other movies that I really enjoyed. The music, I love the music in the movie. There's a catchy little tune that's on there that he sings with the woman that he loves.
Hmm.
Um, and I put that one on one of my playlists that I have.
How did you hear about the film?
It was on Netflix. It's still on Netflix.
Oh, really?
I tend to scroll kind of through Netflix and I just read the synopsis of the
The film.
movie, and if it sounds like something that I'd want to watch, I'll just play it, and if it's good, it's good. If not, then I just wasted an hour and a half of my life that I'll never get back.
Do you when you do that and you kind of read the synopsis, do you end up watching the whole film or do you stop in the middle when you don't or do you commit to it at a
I
certain
commit to
point?
it.
Got it.
No, I'll just watch it unless it's a show. Typically with shows, I only give them about 5 episodes, and if I can't get into it, um, then I'll just stop watching.
Do you do the same, Fernando? Do you stop watching or do you commit all the way?
If it's like a movie, like I think as long as once I've started it, I kind of stick to it no matter what, because then I can either be like, oh, this was really good, or and it came out better than I thought, or I'm like, nah, this was.
Have you guys ever have you guys ever gone to a theater and with like I think what is like the first 20 minutes if you come out of the theater, you can get your money back because you like the movie or whatever reason it was. Have you guys ever had to do that?
No,
Because you end up committing to the movie.
I think it's that, but I also think I think if for when I would go to the movies, I think it was like because you're going with somebody else or you're going with a different bunch of people, like you kind of settle to go, all right, cool, like I'll go to the movie with you this time, and then it's like next time it's my choice. So it's like you
Hmm.
kind of like you're supporting the other person's choice, so that way you're just doing it for the good reason instead of like I don't like it. Let's
But what
go.
if the
Like
movie's really bad though?
well, if they want to get out, then okay. But if not, I'm just gonna sit there and be like, okay, you picked this, so we're gonna sit through it.
I
I hold
got
them
it.
accountable for their action.
Um, Mike, when you look at Netflix, do you look at the ratings of the movies? Like what other people give
No,
them? No?
no, I don't
You-
care what people think. I go with what I want to watch.
Interesting.
For the most part, people are wrong. For the most part, I think that some people, when they rate a movie, they're only basing it on maybe one or two things.
Hmm.
You know, like what movie was it? Like Nacho Libre
Hmm.
has probably one of the worst ratings that you could possibly have for a movie. But to me, it is the funniest movie that I've ever seen in my life. I will watch that thing and sit there and I'm busting up every single time that I watch it. It doesn't matter how many times I've seen it; it still makes me laugh. So I mean, people's opinions are people's opinions, but I have to watch it for myself in order to say whether I liked it or not.
Which is one of my favorite movies to watch.
It
It is. I mean, it's just something
is.
about it. It's like it has a certain charm to them. Is the way I look
Oh
at
yeah,
it.
definitely.
Because it's like, you know, uh, it's just a simple little story. That's all it
Yep.
is. And then you just see him do his Jack Black thing, which is I like it. That's all you
Yep.
need. You don't need to go overboard or anything like that.
Nope.
And you
Yeah.
know, yeah, it's a little cool movie. Um, yeah, I like those kind of movies.
Have
Um,
you ever left the theater because you didn't like a movie?
the last movie I remember walking out on was like I like concerts, right? I like even the behind the scenes behind concerts. And this was a movie that was behind the scenes of a concert. And for some reason, the way it was being presented just didn't grab me right away. And I ended up walking out on it because I was like,
Mm,
well, you know, if this is supposed to be like the behind the scenes of a particular concert and it's supposed to be like an exciting event and stuff, you know, unless the exciting event was the part you kind of get your audience with, why wouldn't you do that with the behind the scenes too? Is the way I thought about it. I don't know if I'm comparing them in ways where like they're visually different, but I think it's really interesting to see like the behind the scenes when something gets made. And because it wasn't interesting right at the beginning to like the first 20 minutes of the movie, I I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like the rest of this. I walked out on it.
mm. Good to know.
Mm-hmm. Well, other than that, I
Hmm.
mean, I I haven't really had another movie that like I walked out on. I think I ended up just like sticking with it. Um, I do know one that like I thought about it, but then I stuck around. I stuck with it, and then I was like, man, I should have walked out on it. When they did the remake to Power Rangers.
You
So
went to go watch that?
yeah, the new one, like when they made
Yeah.
a new one of it, because from again, trailers can be misleading sometimes, and sometimes the best part of the movie ends up becoming in the trailer,
Oh,
and you hope that like, oh man, there's gonna be something else bigger. It
you
wasn't.
know what? You know what? You saying that actually reminded me of the time that the group of us got up and left. Now I remember there was a movie that like it was a
Which
group of friends that we went to, and it was Michael Bay Ninja Turtles.
The
oh
first one or
yeah,
the second one?
both.
I don't think I went to go see the second one. I think it was the first one that we went to go and get out of because I was like, because it's like I don't know. I mean, we're all pretty much on the same age, and then the late '80s, early '90s cartoon and then the movies give you so much like yes, and then it's like I went into this and I was sitting here going like I was remember eating popcorn. I was like, what is this? Like I was like, and then the people next to me were doing the same things, and they were like, man, we're done. And then everybody just kind of got up and we were like, all right, let's go.
And you know what? And for that movie, the Michael Bay version, when like when I saw the design of the turtles, I immediately hated it.
Yeah.
Immediately. And I saw that in the trailer and I was like, I am not going to see this movie.
And see, and I
And
didn't
I
hate Michael
still
Bay's
haven't seen this movie.
Transformers. Like I didn't hate Michael Bay's Transformers in the
I
beginning.
didn't either.
After like it kept going, I was kind of like, all right, like we're beating a dead horse here now. But like the first like movie or two, like I was like, I'm good with this. Like I was cool with it.
There is the movie before that, before the Michael Bay version is they released TMNT, which was like the CGI version of that movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember so many people not liking that movie, and I remember I liked that movie. You know what I mean? For what it was. And it just kind of goes with what Michael's saying, like whether people's reviews or opinions about a movie is true or false or whatever. In the end, it's like I want to watch what I want to watch,
Yeah.
and I liked it for what it was, but I could also see why people didn't like it. But I ended up liking it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, there a lot of the movies where I guess people are very critical about are ones that are either a book a, or comics,
Yes,
and
I agree.
um like the comic book movies, I don't really read comic books and I don't read books, so I don't really care so much for those reviews. Oh well, they missed this and they missed that. I literally just go in and just to go watch a movie and see if it's any good,
Hmm.
and so it's like, nah, I read the reviews or whatever, but I'm really just checking out to see what it is that they're fucking complaining about, because most people just like to complain.
True.
It's true. Um,
Trolls.
I mean, it's great to like read on ahead or read something and then go to see the movie version of that because it's like the visual part of it. Somebody created it. Uh, I like the reference to it, but I do separate those. This is like the book version, and this is like this director's perspective of that movie, and I try not to do that. I try not to say like, oh man, this didn't work out. Oh, this didn't work. Like I remember when the meme was coming out, when Captain America Civil War came out, because it was supposed to be in the comic this mass event of heroes fighting against each other, right? And they were comparing it to the like 9 heroes that were on screen. And that, oh, this isn't Civil War, oh, this isn't that. Like there's just a bunch of those comics, right? But again, like this is like the movie version of that. And then if you really think about it, we ended up getting that scene anyway in Endgame. So you just had to
Yeah,
wait a little longer,
just had to
you know?
wait.
Yeah, you just had to wait a little bit and to get that moment. But again, that's the comparison between like you reading it to you watching it. Like why do that to yourself?
Yeah, and I'll pretty much give everything a try. Like if a friend tells me like, "Hey, you need to watch this," or I really enjoyed this, take a look. Like I'll literally take a look and see if I like the movie or not.
And you're
Like a
pretty
friend
good
just
about that.
Yeah, my friend recently just asked me to watch. It's called Warrior. It's on HBO Max. Um, and I was like, "Well, what's it about? Just kind of give me the, what." He's all like, "Well, it's Chinese, like Chinese kung fu," and he's all like, "Just think about Game of Thrones, but without all the magic and the dragons." So I'm like, "All right, cool. That sounds like a whole bunch of people dying." So so I took I checked it out and I ended up finishing the 2 seasons in like 3 days.
Really?
Yeah, it was actually really good.
How many episodes are per
Um,
season?
I believe it's like 10 per,
How long is
and
each
then
episode?
about like 40 minutes.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, 40, 45 minutes. So, yeah, like stuff like that, I'll check it out.
You are like the biggest movie buff I know. Like you just
Mm.
regardless whether it's like again good or bad or whatever, like you're open to just watching it, which is great because sometimes I look at a movie and I'm like, that doesn't look like something I want to watch, and I just won't give it a try. But then if so many people, you know, mention it, maybe I will give it a try. I remember I used to get a lot of shit for not having seen Grease for a long time.
Mm.
A long time. And I knew the songs because of just references to other things that they were referencing that movie that I heard it so many times. The radio plays the music so many times. People, I was in music school, so people sang it a lot. So, you know, at one point it was like, you're bound to watch this movie. at one point in your life because you see it everywhere. And I eventually did, and I enjoyed it. Not as much as somebody who might have grown up with it, but I enjoyed it regardless.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Fernando, what's your next movie?
I mean, just thinking about movies that I really like. You know, Mario. You talked about how something that you would just put on and you could do on the background like that. You know, obviously, there's The Dark Knight was one of those for me. I could do that all day long, and that was easy. But one for fun that like always comes to mind was Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. Like that one always comes to me real quick. And my dad was a James Bond guy and Indiana Jones guy. Like because he liked all the cars. That's what it was. He liked the cars. But I remember watching Temple of Doom, and it was like he was watching it because he liked the cars, but I was watching it because I was like, it's gonna happen. Like I wanted to watch it. So I remember when I had the chance, I bought the Blu-ray box for all the Indiana Jones movies, and I went through them all, and I was like, yes. But Temple of Doom is always one of the ones that I can watch and listen to anytime.
Okay, so now the question is: out of the 4 movies, is that your favorite?
There are 3 movies.
There are 4 movies.
There are 3 movies.
Technically,
no.
they are 4 movies. Even though if it's bad, it's still 4
I enjoyed
movies.
the 4th one. I didn't like the concept of the aliens and the skull, but I enjoyed the acting, the little fight scenes that they had. It was enjoyable. Yeah, I mean, it was a little whack, but other than that,
Okay, there's 3.5 movies.
Yeah.
I still think Temple of Doom is my favorite. Because I think if I remember correctly, I think Temple of Doom is where the Parade of the Slave Children comes from. And that's one of my favorite John Williams pieces. So it like coincides together. And I was like, yeah, good.
I mean, the Kali Ma comes from. So. Kali Ma!
Let's go, Dr. Jones!
Oh, yeah. Little short run. Oh, wait. That's
short
right.
run.
Short stack.
Short stack.
Dude, pancakes sound so good right now.
Yes,
short
they
stack?
do.
Dude.
Denny's.
For our opinion on short stacks, listen to our last episode.
Michael, do you have a favorite Indiana Jones? I go between. It's hard to choose.
I don't know the name of it, but it's the one where they drink from God's cup.
It's the
Last Crusade.
The Last Crusade, yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first one, but I go between the two, between the first and the third one. I could watch those.
The Last Crusade, that's the one my dad really, really, really liked because it had a Sean Connery in it.
Yeah, Sean Connery. May he rest in peace.
Sean Connery.
Below. Do you guys like the Bond movies? I
like the old Bond movies.
The gold Bond movies.
You guys are gonna jump on me on this one, but I don't think I've ever watched a Bond's movie.
What? Like not even the new ones? The one with was the
nope.
Craig Davis.
Craig Davis.
Daniel Craig.
Yes, with Daniel.
He
Craig.
had the C and the D in there
but
somewhere.
I did say 007.
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye.
That's a good
that
game.
I did do, but I don't think I ever watched any of the movies, any of the James Bond movies.
How come?
I don't know, just never really interested in the Bond movies. They just, I don't know. Like they just seem very serious. I don't know. Like I don't know. I never watched them.
Could it be because like out of this whole like theme of espionage and spies and all that stuff, you have like that one character that just gets away with it every time, and they play the same type of scenario where like he goes on a mission, he's about to get caught, there's an evil villain, he's about to kill him, he frees him, gets the girl, mission complete, defeat the enemy.
Well, I mean, I enjoy Mission Impossible, and it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
And I watch those. I don't know. not too
You've
sure.
never seen Mission
See,
Impossible?
Fernando hasn't seen Mission Impossible, so it's kind of like I don't know. It's one of those things. Maybe one day I'll
That's
sit down
interesting.
and just have a marathon and just watch them all. But yeah, no, to this day I haven't seen any of those movies.
See,
Interesting.
and see to talk about the espionage stuff, that leads me into like one of the other movies that I really like that I didn't think I was gonna like in the beginning. But uh the oh dang it, I just had it on the tip of my tongue now.
That's what she
As you
said.
said.
Hold on, I gotta find it. I gotta remember it again. But it's kind of like it goes back to that whole James Bond thing was
Now,
kind of grew up.
Michael, if
Go ahead.
while you find the movie, would you go back to watch like in order? Like, would you watch the Sean Connery ones? And I think there's another Bond before him, and then there's like it starts changing towards like today. Would you watch them in order? You watch
I
them in
would
order?
probably watch them in order. Yeah, I mean, if I was gonna watch them and commit to watching them, then I would watch them in order, and then I would at that point just be like, okay, this was my favorite, and I'd rather have them, be the James Bond versus
Kingsman.
other people. Oh, Kingsman was really good.
Kingsman is a really
Kingsman.
good movie. Yeah.
I really liked Kingsman. I really did like Kingsman.
See that, like, to me, like that espionage type of movie is more fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like it's not so serious. Like, yeah, it gets serious, but there's it's fun.
I like the
doesn't.
gadgets.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like just like textbook. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but James Bond always came off like that to me, like where
No,
it's just kind of very boring.
No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to die.
So Kingsman has like those moments where like they're about to fight. It's like the
It's always the music.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happens.
music.
You already know. So, but yeah, I would agree that the James Bond movies have a little more seriousness to them. I haven't seen all the Bond films, but I've seen a good amount to like see what Sean Connery has done in his career. You should definitely watch GoldenEye since you played the game, because you'll make a better connection as to where they got those scenes from, like where the scenes came from for the game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've always I don't know why, but like I've always put James Bond with an older crowd.
I can agree with that.
Like, to me, like James Bond is for like my grandpa. Like, and it doesn't matter when it's made. It could be made next year, but the way that it's filmed, the way that he talks, the way that he interacts with people, it's very like old school.
Yeah.
And I can't. There's no connection. There's no playing around. There's no, like, it just seems very serious and like for the older crowds, and
Right,
which is
right.
fine. I'm not saying, I'm not talk bad about that, but like I think that's why I've never really been like, oh, I'm excited to see a James Bond movie, because I really never have been.
Interesting. I expect you to talk like Sean Connery after like the first bulk of his movies, because you'll hear the reoccurring voice in each movie.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah,
Because I mean, we've had like 7 Bond actors, and no matter what, I mean, I think with the last one that's coming out with Daniel Craig, I think he ties Sean.
Like how many movies he's been in?
Yeah, like to portray the character. I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think he is. But still, just something about the suave and debonair movement, or the way he conducted himself. Sean Connery, to me, was still the epitome. Like to me, he is James Bond. Like, he's the version of James Bond that I'll always know. Plus, that DB5, man, is so good.
Wasn't he in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Mm-hmm.
That's such
he
a
was
good
also
movie.
he was also the voice of the dragon in Dragonheart.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, yeah, I could hear it now.
Yeah, imagine getting that phone call.
You know what movie I really enjoyed, and I was a little upset that they didn't continue it on, because it didn't get that much of a good rating, and
I think I know what you're gonna say.
You already know the one with Jeremy
I can't.
Irons. The one with Jeremy Irons. Uh, Ar-
Aragon.
Aragon,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Aragon. Have you seen
The
that,
dragon
Fernando?
movie.
So it was supposed to be a trilogy. It was supposed to be like this is the first installment of that trilogy, and it was with Jeremy Irons and like I forgot who the other actor was, but they were like training and like it was almost like Dragonheart, almost, but it had more of like the mythical like magic connection between a rider and like a dragon, right? Um, but the way they ended the movie, it's like they were setting up for like Lord of the Rings Two Towers, where like something massive was about to happen, and then and then they just stopped. They didn't continue on with it, which sucks. But Jeremy Irons was in it, and you know how he portrays his characters, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it sucked that it didn't continue on.
And that was such a good movie. The
That was
way they
such a
did the
good
dragon
movie,
was just looked so legit.
right? At the time, it was like hyped, but yeah, it sucks that it didn't continue. I'm trying to think of like other movies that were like that, where like they started off, but they just never continued on and made the trilogy with or another movie out of it. Um, a movie is really good though, and I ended up watching the three of them. The How to Train Your Dragon series. Have you guys seen that?
I did. I
All
finally
of them.
watched it with Lennox. Yeah, all
I
three.
watched all three of them. So like I ended up watching the first one, and I knew the first one really well, but I never got a chance to see the second and third one. And then I saw that it was on TV, but then I was like, oh, dude, we could start it from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning. So we ended up watching the two movies afterwards. It's really well done. There you go, Fernando. If you haven't seen How to Train Your Dragon, that's one for you. It's one for you and your kids.
Got it.
That's a good
Noted.
One movie too. There's another movie that was actually really, really good, and they never made any like part two or nothing.
one.
And I
Which
think it was
one?
supposed to be a trilogy. It's called the Golden Compass.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, such a great movie. And just because it cost so much money to make and it didn't make that much money, they decided not to make the rest of the movies, which really sucked.
Boo, that sucks.
Didn't
Yeah.
the Golden Compass get added in like to one of the Hellboy movies though? Like so they kind of spun it into that though? Because the Golden Compass was like I think the Golden Compass like was about like this collection of like a army that could unlock and like the golden army what was unlocked by this Golden Compass I think was part of Hellboy like in like one of the other movies.
Not sure. I think I only watched the first Hellboy.
I mean, like we're talking about other movies I like. I mean, like to go off that kind of like that world, like Blade. The first Blade was something I can watch all the time.
I could watch
not Blade Trinity, but I can watch Blade and Blade 2, but not Blade Trinity.
Was horrible.
That was the last one, right? The last movie.
Yeah,
I saw that in theaters.
Yeah. With Ryan Reynolds, that was just guy's like hit or miss, man. That guy, early movies,
you could tell, like all those during that time with like Wolverine and all that stuff, they were still trying to figure out what they could do with him. They were still trying to figure out what his potential was.
They just couldn't get it right, and they just couldn't get it right. Man,
no. They made
what's your next movie?
They
Mario?
made him an archer, and they made him a weapon. They made him into so many things. Let's see. One movie I could like play over and over, where is one of those you could just put it on, is E.T. E.T. is one of them. It's just one of those that really sticks out to me. It really sticks out as one of those movies where it's like a kid-friendly, like alien, but at the same time having real life situation that the government could like try to find this alien. You know what I mean? Like I love the way that storyline is just put together. The music is amazing. Like the way they portrayed the alien spaceship and everything at the time that movie released, it's just a classic.
I really enjoyed the Bond portion of it
for sure.
That to me is what made the movie stick out, is that he actually had like I guess I looked at it a little bit more deeper, the more I watched it as I got older. And it's like you don't have to be the same in order to have a bond with somebody, you know, like, and that kind of just speaks volumes just overall as a human race, you know, like
Right.
you don't have to have that connection with the same, um, you know, person or the people that you know, or you know, it could be a total fucking stranger with a totally different background, and you can have that connection and that bond, you know, and
Sure.
that was amazing the way that he portrayed that between that little boy and that fucking alien.
Mm. The way you put it,
Hey,
like,
man, Reese's
Man,
Pieces, man. Reese's Pieces.
did you know
tell me,
that did
tell
you
me.
know that Eminem decided not to be added to that movie? They actually reached out to the M&M's Corporation to see if they could use the peanut M&Ms so that he would put on the floor for ET to follow. But M&M's decided not to, and so they went with with Reese's Pieces,
Yep.
and that's how Reese's Pieces made it onto the film.
Wow.
Yep.
The
Did
more you
you
know.
know?
Did you know?
Did you know that because ET had such a popular like standing in the theaters, that it was during the time that the video game industry was slowly starting to decline. So in order to try to bring it back and to get kind of cash out of it, they released ET on Atari. And it was the worst game in history. they
That's
made
great.
they made so many of those video games, and when the video game industry kind of crashed, they didn't know what to do with them, that they ended up burying those games in a landfill somewhere in the desert in like Arizona or Utah.
Mm,
There's
that's
I don't
crazy.
know if it's still over there. I'm pretty sure they've cleaned it up by then, but
Let's go look for it.
let's go. All right, on the next
Let's
podcast.
go look for it. We will be
Live
live
on
in
location.
Live.
Arizona, a landfill in Arizona. We're gonna be like those gold diggers looking for shit.
The gold rush.
The pickers, the
No,
pickers.
there's ones that something island. I forget what it's called.
Island pickers.
All right, whatever. No, they're in this specific island looking for this treasure gold that supposedly is there or whatever. But it's been like 15 fucking seasons and they haven't found shit. But every time you see a goddamn commercial for it, next time on Treasure Island or whatever the fuck it's called, and then they show the guys, oh my god, and then yeah,
They show like
still
they show the teasers of the very
nothing.
last episode, but you don't
Yeah,
get to it.
still nothing. They still haven't fucking found anything. There's nothing there.
Horrible.
For
Horrible.
me, the next movie, this movie hit differently when I watched it. It's a more serious movie. Um, it's Pan's Labyrinth. That movie in 2006. That movie just, man, I love that movie from beginning to fucking end. I mean, and the music, oh my god, the music is perfect for that fucking movie. Like just perfect. And that movie I can watch over and over again. And when my daughter gets a little bit older and she's not scared, I'm gonna have her watch that shit. Because that movie just, it's a fucking beautiful it's a beautiful movie, just super fucking beautiful. The concept of it, um, just everything about it. I just really enjoyed that movie. So if you have a chance to watch it, watch it.
That was a movie I went into not expecting or not knowing what to expect. Like I had no idea what the movie was about. I remember like it was like, come on, let's go watch it. Okay. And okay, here you go, my ticket, sit down or whatever, popcorn and everything. I have no idea what this story was gonna go into. I had no idea it was gonna go into like the magic and the all this stuff. Like I had no clue it was gonna go into that. It is one of those movies that like also makes you feel uncomfortable during certain situations. And that's what makes a movie great. And I think that's when I started to really, really pay attention to Guillermo del Toro. That's when I really started to pay attention to like everything he came out with because that's what he did. It's such a great film. Such a great
Yeah.
film.
I was just like, when I first saw it, I was like, holy fuck, what did I just watch? Like,
Yeah.
what did I just watch? I remember leaving the theater like,
I need
I
ice
had
cream.
no words. I had no words.
Yeah.
I had no words for it. I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
wow, like that was such an amazing film, like from start to finish. And there was no part in that movie where I said, oh, like this is too long or this is boring or where is this
No.
going? Like
It
there's
was
not a
yeah.
single part like that. And then the ending is just fucking crushing. You're just like, you're crushed. And then, oh, it's not over yet. Just keep watching. And then it was just fucking beautiful again. And it's like, man, like, fucking Guillermo, look what you did to me. Like, my heart is exposed. Why did you do that? How did you do that?
What about you, Fernando?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I mean, I don't know. Now that he did Pan's Labyrinth, I'm kind of like, man, like
No, have you seen it?
What do you think
Oh
about
yeah,
Pan's
no, I've
Labyrinth?
seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What did you think of
no, I
Pan's
saw it.
Labyrinth?
It was really good. It was really good. It definitely is one of those like you were saying, like you don't know what you were going to expect going into it, and you come out of it going like, what did I just watch? But thank you for making this that I got to watch this. Like it was one of those, like for sure.
That film makes me feel like I'm like in the club of those people that have only seen that movie, and if you haven't seen it, it's like, man, you haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth, get out of here. Like, it makes it feel that way.
Yeah, I think like going to like the like toy shops and stuff like that, like you get like sometimes you run across like a random Pan's Labyrinth action figure or something like that, and you're kind of like, haha, yeah.
Whoa! Imagine getting the Pale Man action figure. The Pale Man action figure.
Yeah, they're out there, and there's like that like
Dude.
stuff like that, like statues and stuff like that for it. But it's
Dude,
like
that motherfucker was scary as shit. I was a grown ass man watching that, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" Like that guy. Like if there was something out there like that, whoa.
There's what's his name? Doug.
so now we know what to dress up
Dougie
for Halloween and go stand outside Michael's house.
Fresh, is that what you said?
So let me change up the movie so that Fernando feels more comfortable picking a different movie. So there's this movie. It's also on Netflix. It is a animation film. The name of it is Kobu and the Two Strings. It's that film was like, wait, what? I really enjoyed the storyline to that movie. Like the storyline was just right, and they did it in a way where it makes sense to kids. So they simplified it, but not too simplified. And then the animation of it was fucking dope.
Yeah.
And when he would make the little fighting figures with the papers, it reminded me like all that origami that all the kids used to do back in elementary school.
Yeah.
So that movie is really cool. So if Fernando, I don't know if you've ever watched it, but
have you seen it? And again, another one to watch with your kids.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
Kids, that's a good one to watch with your kids. Yeah, so that's my other film. That movie, I really enjoyed it when I watched it. I think I even told Mario like he had to watch it when I watched it.
Yeah, I ended up watching it eventually. It's just well done. Like Mike was saying, it's the animation that kind of does it for me. And then you put like a really good story behind it, and it's just a good movie. Yeah, that's one to add to the list. It's really good.
All right, Fernando, what's your next one, dude?
Random, but Independence Day.
That's a good one. Not the new one, right?
No. No, ID4. I mean, I liked everything that it was, like the aliens, battling back and forth, stealing their ship and running up to their ship and blowing it up from the inside, like I liked everything.
Jeff Goldblum
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff.
The actor, I forget the actor's name who played Jeff Goldblum's dad in the movie.
Oh,
The
Oh, he was
banter back and
great.
yeah,
the
He was
banter
yeah,
back
great.
and forth
yeah.
is phenomenal. Just everything. I really enjoyed that movie. Like it was one of my favorite
Dude,
movies
the
just to
little
watch.
girl, the daughter, the president's daughter, she
Mhm.
comes out in the show that Vanessa watches, and I was watching the show with her, and I was like, "Fuck, that girl looks so familiar to me. Like I don't know where she's from. Like I'm looking at her and I'm picturing her, and I'm like, who is this?" And so then I was like, "You hit me like with a ton of bricks. That's the little girl from Independence Day."
How did you figure that out? Like
Her
her
face,
face,
just her
it looked the
face, her
same.
face. Yeah,
Hmm.
she looks exactly the fucking same, dude. Like exactly the same. I think
Uh,
the show is called Good Girls or something like that. It's on Netflix.
oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but yeah, she comes out in I think it's that show, and I was like, holy shit, that's where she's from. But yeah, no, Independence Day, dude. Backstory to Independence Day. I had got
Uh
I had got arrested
oh.
when I was a kid because I got blamed for doing something I didn't do. It was one of my friends that did it. Well, anyways, they took us to, they booked us whatever, and so I was there for most of the day, and then
At like the station, like the police station.
yeah, at the police
Okay.
station, and so then finally they released me, and then my my mom picked me up and I had tickets to go watch Independence Day for that day. So literally, not I'm not even kidding. Like
After the police, you went to go
two,
watch Independence
two,
Day.
two fucking blocks down, 2 blocks away from the police station was the movie theater, and my mom just fucking dropped me off, and boom, went to go watch Independence Day. Great fucking film. Just a little backstory to Mike.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
hilarious.
man, it's life, dude.
That's true. You
It's life.
get blamed for things that is not your fault. When you get
You know,
released, you go watch a
this
movie.
fucking guy right here has the most guilty face apparently because man, I get blamed for a lot of shit that I don't do. Sometimes I
Yeah.
even think I might as well just fucking do it and just if I'm gonna get blamed for it anyways, fuck it. But
That's
I
Nah.
true.
don't. Yeah. How about you, Mario? What's your next movie?
Let's see. I've been having just like I'm just thinking about them as I go. But we have to talk about this one because it's one that we kind of seen together. It's just a great one. Kill Bill. Let's just talk about Kill Bill for a second.
Ooh.
Talk about it.
Oh, the emotions of Kill Bill. Ah.
Oh, okay. Before we say anything, what I want to do that I always say I'm gonna do it and then I never do it, but I want to do it. I want to take the first film and the second film and cut out the credits and stuff and make it into one huge mungus film
That would be dope.
and then put all the credits in the very end. You know what I mean? And just do like the Kill Bill marathon.
Yeah, that would be
That
dope.
that would be extreme.
There was
I mean
yeah, go for it.
it's such a great movie.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, just so fucking great. I mean, everything about that movie is just awesome. The fight scenes, the backstabbing, like everything, the backstories to each character. Um, Although they didn't do all of them, which I was kind of surprised. Um, but man, fucking Kill Bill, man. Every time I see that movie, I'm like fucking amazing. He did such a great.
Okay, then do you have like there's plenty of them, plenty of favorite scenes, but talk about a scene that you're like, oh man, that's in my top scene. Wait, you've seen it, Fernando, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Both, yeah.
Okay, then Fernando, go for it. What can you
Oh,
say? Can you say a favorite scene?
it's been a long time since I've seen it.
There's a bunch of them, and I'm sure you have more than one, but just
If
describe one.
I'm remembering it right, it's the fight scene when from the chapel.
The Is that the one where like you're talking about when they
He was
Finder?
like, you think so, right? When they
That's the
find
second
her.
movie.
That's the
Oh,
second
is that
movie. Yeah.
that's in two? Yeah, I just that one sticks out to me for some reason a lot, like because of just what the brutality of what it was, and then she's all just covered and just like panting heavy, and she's like after she's been through like the brutal fight that it was, that just sticks out all the time for some reason. I have to really think about the one again. I might have to watch one again all over just because.
The visuals are like on point. They like make you feel uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
with those visuals. Mike, do you have a favorite scene?
I have two. So the first part is Ora Nishi when they do her backstory.
The
I
animation?
love the animation to that. That was
Mm.
just hands down the best. I've always said that they should have always done a movie just of her origin
Mm-hmm.
aside from the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the second part that was kind of my favorite um, is it's not so much a fight scene. It's when she walks into the villa and she's going guns blazing, fucking sword ready to go, and she turns the corner and it's her daughter, and she says, "Bang bang, mommy," and then you could see in her fucking face every step that she had taken was for that specific moment, even though she didn't know that she was alive.
Right.
Like the whole time she's thinking, my baby died. I didn't get to have my baby. They killed my baby. Whatever the case may be, that what she was going to. But she fought fucking armies to get to that specific point. And at that very moment, in her face, just her face alone, it was gone. Like the anger was it went from anger and just despair to like happiness, and I can't believe what I'm looking at right now.
Right, right.
And that to me, when she did that, I was like, she's alive.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, we kind of already knew because they kind of said it, towards the end of the first movie.
Right.
But to actually see, her child, and, you know, she's hanging out with fucking Bill, and she's already holding a toy gun, and they're playing, whatever it is that they were playing, and then he's just fucking sitting there like nonchalant, like ain't nothing gonna happen, and he's like, bang bang, mommy, you gotta die. And that when Bill said that, I'm like, this asshole, like fucking shot her in the fucking head, and now he's kind of like doing like, why won't you fucking die type of thing, with using his daughters, uh,
Right.
playing the game of cops and robbers or whatever it is that they were playing. To
When
me, that was big.
when you're mentioning that scene, I'm like thinking about, wow, she didn't get to name her daughter.
Mm-mm. She didn't get to do
She
anything.
didn't get to do any of that stuff. So then
No.
when she called the name out, it was like her first time saying it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, that was one of the scenes that stood out to me the most, um, as far as that movie goes.
The scene that sticks out to me is when she in the first movie when she goes to Japan to go get her sword made.
Mm,
Uh, when she's in the attic, right, and then she's asking to take a sword, but he's saying no, and then ends up talking to her to see if she's worthy of getting a sword, and then that whole dialogue between them
yeah,
is like so suspenseful whether he's gonna do it or not, and then like he throws a baseball at her and she slices it in half, and then at that moment he knows like, okay, I'm gonna make the sword, and then the next scene after that is when they present the sword to her, and
yeah.
it's so good.
I love that scene when that specific scene as well. It's great because like for us as we're watching it, we know he's a swords maker, you know, and we know that it's a good sword, right? But we don't know how good it is.
Right, not yet.
But when you're watching that specific scene, when he says, "Go ahead, grab one," and her face when she's about to grab one, and then she she pulls back like,
Right.
oh my god, like I'm about to grab this sword,
Right.
like
Right.
that right there told me like, holy fuck, this is the sword of swords. Like if this guy makes you a sword, like it is the best. Just by her face alone, just the like like I can't touch it. Like I'm
Right.
gonna
Right.
break it.
And that's cool as like as a again, I know nothing about making a movie or movie direction or anything like that, but I could appreciate that they did that for a reason because they're letting the audience know that this is the moment of like the weapon that you've been hearing about this whole time. And you're getting one made for this character. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was dope.
It's dope. It's so good.
Yeah, I just yeah, that's just one of the best movies that we watched together.
It's so good.
Fernando, I can't believe you don't remember the movie.
I don't. I really don't. I have to watch it again. I do. I do. But what's funny is like, you guys started saying things and it was like it starts coming like patch. And like the little things coming back, you're like tick, 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 and it's like starting to formulate back in order. And I'm like, that's right.
Do a refresher after you watch a movie that you haven't seen.
And you know what? The other dialogue that I really enjoyed was before she got to the villa and she was talking to the pimp,
Oh yeah, that's
and
right.
and then he was like, "Dang,"
Oh, that's
and
right.
he's
That's
off.
right. He's like
And then she's
all
like,
coked
"Yeah,"
out.
and then she's like, "Where's Bill?" And he's like, "Where's Bill?"
Deal.
It's just
You already
great.
know.
It
You
was
already
such.
know.
It was fucking just awesome. Like that guy was just such an awesome pimp. Like he was just so cool and mellow. And he's like, oh yeah, he's down the street on the villa, blah blah blah. You know why I tell you? And like, dude, it's fucking great. It's just really great.
Yeah, it's so
So
good. It's a build on
so when
movies.
so instead of the refreshers, we talked about we were gonna pick a movie.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Okay, so out
So
of
what
all,
movies? What movies are we picking, or which ones are we, or who's giving what movies to who to watch?
you choose a movie. I already know which one I'm gonna watch.
So I'll
Go for
watch
it.
Spirited Away.
I think you'll enjoy it.
All the movies that you guys kind of mentioned I've already seen, um, except for, and knowing me, I'll probably just end up watching both. But Hotel Artemis, I'll try to watch it. And then Spirit Away. Those are the two movies that I haven't seen, and I might catch both, but for sure Spirited Away because the kids are going to be able to watch that.
Yeah.
I think I was gonna do Spirited Away and I was gonna do Battle Royale because I like the whole like trying to see who comes out on top because sometimes you get those weird alliances and partnerships and something dramatic happens to one of them usually in something like that. So I want to see if that happens.
What was that movie that you mentioned at the beginning, Michael? Again, the one that you said that was like Nightmare Before Christmas. The animation was like that. The one with the kid that has a
Kid with a
stone.
cuckoo
Oh,
clock
Jack
heart.
Jack and the Cuckoo Clock.
I'm
The
gonna
Cuckoo
go for
Clock Heart.
that one because I want to say I don't remember if I saw it or not.
And I'm gonna also try to throw in How to Train Your Dragon.
I think you'll like that one. That one is a movie that I was really surprised with. I think the only reason why I saw it to begin with is because when I was working at Fox Studios, they had released it, and I ended up watching it. But I just never got a chance to watch the other ones. But uh, I want to say all three of them are equally as good. I liked all three of them equally. So if you like the first one, I want to say you'll like the other ones too. Um, yeah.
Have you guys seen Jojo Rabbit?
No, I haven't. I want to. Have you?
Yeah, of course I've seen it. That movie is different.
So I've heard. I think I'm gonna watch that one too.
No, it was on the list of stuff to watch, but I never actually watched it.
It's so I'll tell you the basis of it.
Mhm.
It's about this little boy.
Spoiler alert if you
Ooh.
haven't watched it yet.
No. I'm not gonna give any spoilers. He is he's all about Hitler.
Like
Um,
he's
he
not
lives in
Hitler.
that time.
He's
In
not
that
Hitler, or
time.
he like
He's
admires
not
him.
Hitler.
Okay,
He admires him.
got it. Okay.
He wants to hate the Jews.
Oh, I see.
So he's very into Hitler. He believes in what Hitler is doing.
I see.
But he's just a boy. So within the movie, he has conversations with Hitler,
Interesting.
and then Hitler appears. But Hitler is kind of just like his subconscious, just kind of talking to him.
Like he's creating the character in his mind.
Yeah.
So his imaginary friend is Hitler.
Right.
Okay.
But in the movie, he finds out that there's a Jew living in his house. So when he's talking to the Jew, because Hitler has essentially brainwashed all these people to thinking Jews are, the second coming of evil, he starts having the conversation with the Jew. Well, can you do this? Why do you guys do that? And it's all just like super, like far-fetched shit, man. Like just like the stupidest shit you've ever heard in your life. And so he starts having that internal battle with himself about like, but wait, like why, like, but why?
But why?
Why,
Yeah.
like, why do I have to hate them? Like, why is it this? Why is it that? So it's a great movie in that you're seeing the what happened around those times, but from a child's point of view.
Interesting.
And it's very gullible and very what's the word, innocent,
Oh, I see.
because he doesn't know how to feel, and most kids don't know how to feel about things. They go based on what grown-ups tell them.
Right.
They grown-ups tell them. And that's one of the things that I try not to do with Lennox. I try not to tell her how to feel, but instead I ask her how she's feeling, and try to explain it to me so that I understand, what she's feeling.
Right.
Like when we found out that her fish died, committed suicide, she started crying. That's a reasonable reaction to your fish dying.
Right.
And so I asked her, I said, well, what's the matter? Like, what are you feeling? And the only explanation that she could tell me, and it was just such an answer that only a child would give you, was she said that my heart hurts, but I don't know why. And that, like, it made me teary eyed because my 4-year-old daughter experienced heartbreak,
Right. Right.
but she didn't know to say, like, oh, like I'm feeling heartbroken. She just said my heart hurts.
Right. Right.
And but I don't know why. So I tried to explain to her why that sometimes sad things and bad things that happen can make your heart feel the way that it does.
Right.
And I told her, I was like, you're gonna feel how you feel, and that's okay. You feel sad and you feel like your heart hurts, and that's okay. That's a natural reaction to your fish dying. And so she wanted to bury her fish, so we ended up burying her fish. But that kind of, when I watched that movie, that's what I got from it. Was this child who doesn't know any better is being fed this hate and just ugliness, but he took it upon himself to find out why. Like, why do we have to hate? Why do we have to do this? So it's a really great film. If you haven't watched it, I recommend it.
I think I'm gonna put that one on there too.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's funny. It's funny. So there's gonna be some parts where you're laughing. You're like, oh shit, and you just start laughing.
Okay.
But then the director did a really good job to bring you back to this is what's going on.
Reality.
So yeah, it's a great film.
All right. So I guess we have some homework, huh?
Yeah, so yeah, on the next podcast we'll talk about the movies that we watched. It seems that we're interested in more than one movie. For sure, Jojo Rabbit I'll watch, and then Jack and the Cuckoo Clock, and then if I can squeeze it in there, either Hotel Artemis or Battle Royale. Um, Actually, because two movies are from Michael, I'll probably watch Hotel Artemis from Mike from Fernando, and I'll choose one of those three, and then I'll just say it on the next on the podcast on the next episode.
Cool. I'm gonna try to catch both. So it sounds like we're gonna be all watching the same movie, so we'll be able to kind of critique the movie and get everyone's feedback in
Yeah,
regards to the movie.
cool.
Yeah.
I really
So-
hope you guys enjoy those movies.
Watcher alert! There's gonna be spoilers on the next episode.
Spoiler
Dum
alert.
dum dum.
Yeah.
Dum dum dum.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for listening, and check us out on the next podcast when we talk about the movie I have not seen. All right. Laters.
Cool.